Describe the scandal of Mrs. Pankhurst and the rhubarb jam.
Pankhurst, she was a now suffragettes and jam.
We don't say suffragettes anymore, we say favours the flatter shoe.
Did she make her own jam? Pankhurst's own rhubarb jam?
Well, no, but actually in the 19th century, in the early part of the 20th century, there was an enormous industry involved around making of fake jams, would you believe?
Fake jams?
Fake jam. There was a particular kind of jam that was very popular, but rather expensive for ordinary people, and so fake versions of it were produced, and it was a particular fruit jam.
Strawberry. Raspberry.
Raspberry is the answer. Raspberry was very popular, very, very popular, but rather expensive. So instead people used rhubarb was your best shot. The worst shot was
the pips in
sweetened turnips. And, as Marcus said under his breath there,
yes,
but I caught it, yes, they did put wooden pips in, not real pips, but fake pips.
Lovely wood.
In order to make it look more like... And, this is why it gets so weird, so prevalent was this habit of making false raspberry jam out of sweetened turnips and rhubarb and adding the wood bits, that there was a trade of making little wooden pips. And it was sweated labour that Mrs. Sylvia Pankhurst, one of the leading women's movement people who, you know, fought for votes for women and rights for women and so on, that she made an enormous fuss about this and indeed opened her own jam factory during the First World War, selling real jam instead of this.
It does sound like a euphemism for something else. Yeah, she's opened her jam factory.
Oh, exactly. You're a very disgusting young man.
I just think it sounds...
Young, quite wrongly.
I like the idea that you could have a job as a pip maker.
Yeah, I know, that's exactly what a pip maker.
5 years apprenticeship. Making pips. Start having great big pips like that, making it smaller and smaller.
And being very badly paid at it. Anyway, that was paid.
Presumably they got away with it if it lasted that long, so it must have been raspberry-ish.
I guess. It was sugary, it was sweet and it was red. What do they call jam in America?
Jello.
Jam.
Jello.
No, they don't.
Jelly.
Jelly.
I want some jam.
Jelly.
Put some jam on my pancakes.
Jelly. They call it jelly.
I'm still saying jam.
Yes, you are. You're still saying jam in your way.
I think it's funny when I say jam.
They make it with... they mix it with peanut butter as well.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Got an interesting fact about peanut butter.
Tell me.
You know, when they make those commercials using chimps...
Like for tea and things.
For tea and stuff. So what they do is they get a little bit of peanut butter and they put it on the top
of
the roof of their mouth for the monkeys, and a little bit they go... And that is also how they make Hollyoaks.
Very good. Very good indeed.
So it's done.
So, there we have it. The pips in fake raspberry jam, often made from rhubarb, were little bits of wood processed by sweatshop female labour.